Luke, we're live.
Oh my gosh.
How's it going, guys? MTG podcast. We're going to talk about the latest news. It's been so long since we've done an episode like this where we talked about.
It has.
Yeah, and so if you're new to this is how we do it. We come in, we say hi like we're doing right now, and then we talk about what we've been watching / playing. We talk about what
That's right. We get all caught up
in conversation and stuff like that. And then we talk about the news, have some discussion, and then we go home. Well, you don't have to go anywhere.
We're actually going to watch a movie after this.
We're going to watch a movie after this. Have buddyship time.
The good thing is we are home.
Yeah, that's right. So let's get right into it with what we've been watching / playing. Luke, tell us.
So some of the things I'm going back to are very recent, and some of the things I'm going back to are kind of old because we've had such a hiatus with a capital H right now.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very long pause. So welcome to 2016, everyone.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Which marks the end of some old things that we were watching, playing, and marks the beginning of some new things. And that's kind of part of my list. Jessica Jones is one of those things that was introduced kind of in between the 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, depending on when you watch it. I mean, obviously they released it all, but, some people haven't finished it yet. I just finished it. Some people finished it right at the beginning.
Some people haven't started.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, it's you, so
it's only me.
That's what I've come to expect.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. That's all I'm going to say.
Yikes.
So I just finished Jessica Jones yesterday, I think.
Wow. Okay.
So I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it. I might go so far as to say I enjoyed it more than I should have enjoyed it. Like, it's funny. Like, for me, this show, I just personally really like it, and I can totally see how people have problems with it. And like, my wife hates it. Like, she thinks it's so stupid. And a part of it is she doesn't like that girl. I don't remember her name that plays Jessica Jones. She hasn't liked other things she's been in. She doesn't like her attitude or whatever.
Oh.
And I'm not the biggest fan of her, but I just really like her as Jessica Jones. It's funny because, seeing this show before it came out, I was really iffy on it. It was like, that girl's okay. And she's not the greatest actress. But it just, for some reason, this show really got me. And I just really am enjoying it. And, well, did enjoy it. It's over. But assuming there's a second season, I am enjoying it.
I'm sure there will be. You enjoy it more than Daredevil?
I'm going to talk about that some more later, actually. But
okay. All right, we'll get to it.
I super enjoy Jessica Jones. And if you haven't watched it, I really encourage you. If you even remotely like superhero stuff of any kind, you really don't have to understand these heroes to enjoy these shows. Like, you can come in it with no knowledge, never having read a comic, never having watched anything, and I really do think you would enjoy this show.
You're making me really excited to watch it, actually.
Like, I have to admit, if I was just reviewing something, I probably would be harsh on this show for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, I really enjoyed it. I don't know why. Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, like, just those two characters were the main, like, centerpieces of this show, and it worked well. I don't know Luke Cage, I don't know Jessica Jones, I don't know these characters very well. I am a geek, I consider myself a nerd, but I don't know my comic heroes super well. I learn as I get into things. I learn about their history and kind of update myself on what this character is all about. And I know I'm talking about a lot about Jessica Jones, but it's because I've been excited and I haven't really gotten to talk to anyone about this. And it's a show. I don't know. It really rubbed me the right way. Even though it lacks in certain areas, it really hit the right chord with me. And so, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Enough about that.
It's really good.
I really enjoyed it. Legend is a movie that came out. I don't know if it's out yet. I may have given away that I downloaded it, but it's a Tom Hardy. It's the Tom Hardy movie where he plays both lead characters of the movie, brothers who are gangsters, and I think it's set in like late 50s.
How have I not heard of this movie?
Yeah, I'm really surprised you haven't seen the trailer.
I've not heard of it.
It's one of those movies where one person plays two characters. You clearly can tell that they play two characters. And it is the best example of this. Whatever technology powers this is mind-blowing.
Wow.
It's incredible how much they interact with each other. I mean, they're fighting in one scene, and like clearly he had to use a double, but my God, it looks like he's fighting
Wow.
himself. It's crazy. And he acts so much different. Really, if you didn't know it was Tom Hardy, it would be easy to say that's got to be someone else. Like,
Oh, wow, it's cool.
I was not a big fan of this movie. It was very depressing. It went to a dark place. But what saved this movie, and at least was like something to look back on, was just how good of a job Tom Hardy did. Like, it really. I've never seen a movie where someone played two characters that just blew my mind like this movie did. And just because of the job he did, and of course the technology to make it look like he's talking, fighting, punching himself.
Better than Jet Li's The One. Better technology than that.
I barely remember that movie. So.
That's a good thing. Don't worry about it.
So watch Legend, I guess, just because it's really cool. Not a great movie. Halo 5, this is one we've talked about a little bit, but there's been some updates since we talked last. Big Team Battle came into play. And, you know, we've already gotten a preview of the next update. I don't remember what's in it, but
I'm going to say what?
There was an update about, they were talking about the upcoming preview. It should be coming in the next couple weeks. So excited about that. I think there's some new maps coming.
Cool.
I think I played on at least one new map in just normal Team Slayer, but been playing with some friends, enjoying that. It's definitely got that replayability that Halo always had, and it's one of those games, as I've said it before, it's really hard to go back to the old Halo after you play the new Halo.
Yeah.
It's just so much slower, and not that Halo 2 is by far my favorite Halo ever made. I think the multiplayer is pretty much perfect. I think it's a 10 out of 10. So I love that, but it's just hard to go back to the slower gameplay.
Yeah.
Not that it's not good. It's just hard to go to slower gameplay when you get to charge, when you get the Spartan abilities.
Sultan from Aladdin.
So yeah, if you have not picked up that game, I don't know what you're doing. I'm sure it's on sale by now. Go buy it.
Yeah, it's great.
And
I'm not a first-person shooter guy,
Yeah.
really. I just come back for Halo, and that really scratches the niche.
that's always been something you've enjoyed.
Yeah,
Halo.
Halo 5 is fantastically fun. I
Yeah,
was just
it
amazed
really
how
is.
much fun I'll get back to it at some point. I'm in the midst of another
You have
game,
to
but
play with us,
That's
your
right.
buddies online.
Oh my gosh.
That always makes
Yeah.
me want to play a game. Like I'm totally, as I'm going to talk about here in a minute, into Fallout 4, but when I'm able to play with somebody else, it like brings me right back to Halo. Like, I'm totally fine with playing Halo
Yeah.
as long as I can play with someone else. Like, that gives me a reason to leave a single player game. Probably the biggest thing, other than Jessica Jones, I didn't realize I was going to get that excited about it.
Yeah, you were like, yeah, I've been watching Jessica Jones, and oh my gosh, it was so good. And you're like,
It happens, man. So Fallout 4 is a game that came out, and just, I mean, you know, Jordan, you've played it. It's been a game everyone's talked about, and me and Jordan kind of came in late, and I think, at least with me, the talk is what really fueled me to buy this game. It was just, people were raving about it. Like, they were saying how good it was. There's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of problems with it, but everyone was just saying how fun it was. And of course, I'm a big Skyrim fan. I'm an even bigger Oblivion fan. Bethesda is just a studio that always catches my eye. No matter what they come out with, I've always got to take a look at it, at least if I don't buy it. I think the only game I honestly haven't been like ready to lay my money down was their latest. What is it?
what are they doing?
Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
Online. No. Thank you.
But apart from that game, Bethesda just makes great games, and this is just another one that I think they knocked out of the park.
I'm like the opposite of you when it comes to this. This is the first Bethesda game that's got me. Like, this is the first one. Like, I've tried a lot of them. I tried Skyrim for a good while, and I tried Fallout 3 even. Like, I tried Fallout 3, and for some reason that didn't grab me.
Did you play New Vegas?
I didn't play New Vegas, no.
I should have let you borrow it.
Yeah, that may have done something different for me, but like Fallout 4, for some reason, just it got me. Like, it's not the investment either. I spent gift card money on it, so it's not like I actually dropped money on it. It was just like, I don't know.
I got it for Christmas, so.
There you go. We didn't really have to invest in it, so like.
But it was the only game I actually asked for Christmas.
Oh, there you go. And
I figured that way I'd get it.
Yeah, just do one. Don't blow it out too far out. You might not get the one you really
I want all these, pre-order all these games for me.
But like, this game's a lot of fun. Like, I felt really immersed into this for some reason, because for some reason I think why Skyrim didn't grab me, why Fallout 3 didn't grab me. Think when it comes to Fallout 3, it didn't grab me just because for me, like, that game didn't look very good. A lot of people say Fallout 4 didn't look good, but for some reason I found Fallout 3 to be aesthetically unappealing on almost every level. It looked brown to me, and like just colorless. And like in this game, I feel like I'm in a world where like I can at least.
Well, it is after a nuclear
warhead.
It is
after a nuclear warhead. You'd expect the world not to be as pretty, and it isn't in this game. But it's nice to have blue skies. It's nice to have starry nights. At times where
acid
like
rain.
I love that.
Beautiful
I love the acid rain.
rain.
I was scared for some random acid rain. I was like, with the lightning. I was like, holy crap, this is freaking crazy. But yeah, and I like that they gave the character a voice. Like, this addresses so many things about RPGs, not that I'm like that I have problems with. For some reason I have a hard time connecting with the character that I'm given. I hate games where it's either one way or the other in RPGs these days. It's either, I feel like this is how it is with like JRPGs. They don't give you enough control, and your character has too much of a character kind of already built in.
Yeah.
And so you don't really feel like you're living through this other character that you're watching. But with a lot of Western RPGs, the thing I found is you have this character, you create this likeness or whatever, or not likeness, depending on your style, and you like mold them to this custom thing, and it has no personality. I hate that. And it has no voice. I hate it when he doesn't have a voice. I'm like, why? What, the character I imagined has to be a mute?
I do agree. I agree with that. That always annoyed me.
It annoys me. It annoys the crap out of me. And the fact that like the voice, like
it's a good voice talks.
Too. I like the voice. Yeah, I think the voice
very
acting
pleasant.
is fantastic in this game, and it really helped me to feel immersed. And like, I like called my girlfriend at this point, but I started the game up, and when Cogsworth says your name, I freaked out. Honestly, I freaked out more than I should have, because I thought the entire game was going to be like that, how characters left and right were going to be saying your name.
Amazing.
I was like, this is what I've always wanted. And I like, do that. Next Fallout game, try to make it more. At least your companions.
Make a complex name, too. I want to hear him pronounce something insane.
Exactly. Like
Alejandro.
Manisha. Get Manisha in there. I'm like, no.
Jevalondo and Arondo.
But no, the game's really great, and the gameplay's tight. Like, I think the gameplay, like the gunplay, is pretty nice. Like, I think I had a problem a little bit with that with Fallout 3 when I was playing. I was like,
I never played Fallout 3, I'll confess.
It's all right. I play it for a few hours. A lot of people swear by it. They love it, and that's fine. I can understand that. If I was like right on board right when that started, I may have been more into that, but like it was after a while. I think I got it like used for like $5 or something like that for PlayStation 3. And while like the setup was cool and like the beginning of that game was really cool, just after that I was like, I don't know. I just didn't get invested into that for some reason, but really enjoying Fallout 4. I'm not insanely like far in it. I'm kind of, taking my time with a little bit. I'm like probably level 14 or so. I'm not that far into it. I'm like kind of going back and forth through the story into just screwing about, which I find both to be very satisfying and fun. Who's your companion right now? I'm curious. You might be farther than me, so you might have some personality.
The lady, the newspaper.
Piper. She's my companion now. I wanna get.
Oh no! Actually, she just left.
Oh no!
The Sith.
A Sith Lord.
Scythe.
The Sith is Darth Maul.
Synth.
Oh, Nick Valentine.
No.
Nick
Valentine. I was just wondering how much you'd done. So
yeah, I've gotten Nick. That game has some hilarious glitches, I will say. I'm not gonna go.
Far too many.
Some of them have been really annoying. Like we were playing with you, man, and there was some weird glitch where it was.
Luckily, it went away when I restarted it.
Horrible if you had to go the rest of the game like that. But what, like
terrible discoloration.
There's coloration.
Everything.
It was like the textures were like tearing or something. It was really bad.
The entire world, it was implemented. It was bad.
Like most of the times you'll have a glitch and you'll laugh because it's really awkward and weird, but that was
Somebody will walk through somebody else, or
or like you'll be in a dialogue tree and then like the character will be talking and be like
looking at someone else.
And so what I said about my family was, and it'll like pause and it'll like cut back to the other person. They'll just be like, and it'll cut them like you're like, okay, and they cut back.
Moment of suspense,
and then the freaking dialogue continues like normal. And it was just
dramatic
hilarious.
pause.
What, the dialogue need to load or something? I don't know. It was weird, but a lot of weird stuff. Freaking dead. I came across like a dead body who I killed with a napalm, just standing there without an arm, lifeless. That was creepy.
You got me.
I'm dead.
When I flew back twice. Just
you
walking
like
along,
teleported.
all of a sudden, bam! I'm like 10 miles back where I was. What just happened?
But yeah, really fun game though. It's like one of those things. It's like playing it. I get hooked into it. I get hooked into the world, and it's just recommended it totally.
That's about it for me.
That's about it for you. All right, I have a few things to talk about. One thing, this is really random, and it's kind of lame that I'm talking about a demo for a game that's been out for several months, but I'm going to do it because I might buy the game based on this demo, mainly because it's probably dirt cheap at this point. But Dying Light, I played the PlayStation demo for like the solo campaign, and man, that game is different. Like, because like zombie games, I'm just like, all right, it's so played out. But like playing that demo, there's something about this game. There was an unnerving feeling that I had playing that game that I didn't expect. And I think that comes from a few places. One, you're not a killing machine. Killing one zombie, you do have to focus your attention and be like, oh my gosh, because you have a stamina meter and your stamina can run low and you basically become like
it's real life.
Ineffective. It's real life.
You get tired.
Well, you can parkour like no one I've ever seen, but which is nice because to be able to traverse this world. But the coolest thing was when sun goes down, it is actually effectively like
terrifying.
It's scary.
That's what I've heard.
Because you like the music isn't as like it changes into like silence. You hear the wind blowing and you make it feel like immersed in the atmosphere. You hear radio.
Do you hear the footsteps?
You hear people like and like they make the zombies make creepy sounds in this game. Like
do they run?
Unnerving. In the daytime, some of them run. So like they say it like it's newly infested people can like run after you, climb up stuff.
They're like
and
halflings.
chase you down. Exactly. Like little halflings are really dangerous. But like, yeah, when night comes, it scares people on the radio saying, everyone get inside and stuff like that. You're like, oh my God. And then like all of a sudden you hear them mutate in the background and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you see them and they see you and then and they go running after you. The music goes crazy.
So it's like World War Z zombies where they go nuts.
And they're freaking crazy. They're more like almost freaking like I Am Legend where they're like freaking it's great actually. But like I don't know, the whole entire game as a whole might be like not quite as appealing, but I'll that demo was so effective for me. I'll try it out. I'm gonna buy it. Next up, I needed to talk about this at some point. Heroes Reborn. I've been watching Heroes Reborn. I've watched all the first series of Heroes. Watched it all and all of its disappointing seasons after the first season. But man, let me tell you, this season. It's exactly the same. Like seriously, it's so disappointing the fact that like it feels like it's the exact same. And not only do I
what did it end on the third season?
It ended on the fourth season.
It felt like the fourth season.
It's not near quite as bad as that because the fact that a lot of these are new characters and a new story, at least you're not like but they're still the same like goofy plot twists in a way. But it's the same way that Heroes is. Heroes ropes me in. And I know it's going to end in disappointment. I know it is, but it's so good at the setup. It's so good at stringing me along and being like, ooh, I don't know what it is even. Like, I really do not know. It's not just the fact that there's superheroes. There's a lot of superhero shows on. It's not just because there's characters that I'm connecting, that I'm like, oh, nostalgic for or something like that.
Yeah.
It's mostly new characters. And every now and then an old character will show up and I'm like, oh my God, what did they do to you?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it's not. I don't regret watching this because I was upset that Heroes got canceled because like that season ended kind of in like almost like cliffhanger, sort of, and like it was like, all right, I've been through disappointment and everything, and that's one thing, but at least have conclusion, and so that's what I'm hoping that this series does, because it's not getting a second season. I didn't put this in the news section, but they said it's not getting a second season, but apparently that was always the plan, and for it to be like a one-off thing. So hopefully a little bit of closure, probably not. Whatever, it's fine. Some of the characters are all right and like appealing. Some of them are just bland, just nothing characters. But anyways, there's that. I'll kind of give you an update after it ends to let you know how much I was let down. That's so pessimistic. It might, I don't know. I'm just trying not to get my hopes up. But anyways, this is really random. Me and Amber have been watching a lot of these Miyazaki movies because there's a lot of them I haven't seen. Initially, really the only one I've ever seen was Princess Mononoke. If you don't know, Miyazaki is Luke. He's a director of all these animated movies under Studio Ghibli, which is this animation.
I haven't
studio.
watched them, but I know the movies.
Yeah, they're like, as far as anime like goes, it's almost like they're almost like the Disney of the animation. I think almost like Disney animation studio of Japan. Almost like their movies are very creative, very wonderful to look at, and they're almost people who don't like anime, I think might get into some of them. I'd be interested to watch one of them with you, but Disney kind of brought the Miyazaki movies under their umbrella, and so like they're all like a bunch of Disney Blu-rays basically. Like I think like Lasseter is like really into the Miyazaki movies, so he made it his mission to make them like mainstream, and so like all these movies have like star voice acting for like their like I think a few of the ones I'm talking about, like ones I wanted to talk about specifically is Kiki's Delivery Service and Castle in the Sky, because these are the two ones I watched. I bought Kiki's Delivery Service for Amber for Christmas, and I got Castle in the Sky with a gift card. Kiki's Delivery Service, I don't think you'd like this movie very much. Well, you might, I don't know, because the thing is, nothing happens in this movie. Like it's nothing. It's about a witch who she's good at flying, kind of, but she goes off, like apparently how it is on their 16th birthday, or I think it's actually younger than that, a witch goes off for a year to train. And all that happens in this movie is she goes off, she finds this town, and she finds someone who needs a delivery lady, and she uses her broom to deliver stuff to people. And that's really it. But there's something about this movie, like watching it, that just calmed me down and just got me immersed into its world. It was something about this world is so charming. That's the thing. This movie is really charming. It's voice acted well. The characters are done really well, even though like no one dies in this movie that I know of.
If no one gets shot, I'm not watching.
Well, and it's not like even that. There's not even that much drama in this movie. Like seriously, like really, it's just this girl kind of finding her place in this new town. And it sounds like really boring, but it sucked me in like hardcore. And I can't. I really want to watch it again. It was really good. I recommend it if you're okay with movies that are where not much happens. It doesn't have an epic scale. There's no hero's journey even really. It's just a girl finding herself, and it's, I don't know. It's just something about it was really.
It's a UPS movie.
It's a UPS movie. I don't know. It had a message to it. Like it kind of had a message to it. Like in the beginning of the movie, there's this witch who she flies across. She's like, "Oh, I'm doing great things with my stuff. I know I'm really good at predicting the future. I'm gonna do all this stuff." And then she kind of leaves. You're like, "Oh, she was a jerk." And then like Kiki goes to this town and really doesn't do anything but become a delivery girl, but it makes her like super happy, and she like makes all these really good friends. And so it's like a little life lesson, like, you know, even if you don't do like something big by in the eyes of like people, it's like cool to have like to do something that makes you happy and fulfilled inside. And I was like, oh, that's really nice, really good movie for like a kid to watch or something. But anyways, Castle in the Sky is a more straightforward movie. It's an adventure movie, kind of along the lines of like I don't know, some Indiana Jones or something. It's about like, it's just an artifact where
the rescuers
exactly. Like a boy and a girl are on an adventure, blah blah blah. And both of these, I don't have as much to say about this movie honestly, because I didn't enjoy it as much as Kiki's Delivery Service. Even though I did enjoy it, it was one of Miyazaki's first movies, but it was really good. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you the voice actors who were in this. I think Kiki was played by Kirsten Dunst, and in Castle in the Sky, it's Anna Paquin, Rogue and whatnot,
Yep.
and Mark Hamill was actually the villain in it. So yeah, really
Cool.
Both these movies I think are great. I just enjoyed Kiki's Delivery Service more. But anyways, if you're curious about anime, I feel like the Miyazaki movies are a great place to start, because even though they're kind of weird in a way that just like you don't see a lot of things you expect. They're all are on the slower side.
89.
Yeah, really old. And like seeing these movies, like when I saw Kiki's Delivery Service and I saw the freaking year it was made, I was like, I don't believe it. I do not believe this movie.
Oh, I see. When they did the English translation, those are the people that did it. I see what you're saying.
Exactly.
I was wondering, like, there's no way they did an 89 Japanese movie with those actors and actresses.
But seriously, if you watch these movies now, like some of them, like Kiki's Delivery Service especially, because I was like, I don't believe it's that old, and it looks amazing. Like, it looks so good. The animation's so vibrant and beautiful and detailed, and like there's this weird sense of scale to it. Like when she's flying, it looks beautiful. But yeah, great movies. I recommend Miyazaki's work. I haven't seen them all. We're kind of making the way through. The only ones I've seen other than that are Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away, which are also very good. So anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about, I guess, our news. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
First off, I don't know about this because I've never read all the Chronicles of Narnia books, but I thought I'd put this on here because I thought it was just an interesting thing. The producer of this movie, or to be producer of this movie because it hasn't been made yet or hasn't even started production yet, the Silver Chair in the next installment, kind of, in the Narnia franchise. But here's the thing. This is a movie that is apparently going to reboot the franchise.
Thank God. They're
saying it's a new actors, new everything. It's not the same like world that we were in the first ones. And so
I'm so excited.
It's a redo. All right, so you're excited.
Because I love Narnia.
I'm confused.
I grew up reading these books. We were in this little thing called the book club.
Oh yeah.
And so the beauty, like, I was homeschooled until my 8th grade year and then went to, high school or private school. But when I was homeschooled, we had, a curriculum of reading books. So I had to read a bunch of books I didn't really like. But the beauty of the book club, my mom was, in trying to encourage me to read books, just like most parents do to their kids when they're younger. And the beauty of the book club was I got to pick what book I wanted to read. And so these were books that my mom showed me, and I ended up reading. I don't remember how many of them, but I think all of them, maybe. I might have not finished the last one, but I at least read through once almost every one of them. Mm-hmm. And then some of them I went back and read a couple times. So yeah, I was very disappointed when Narnia came out. And
really?
To me, it was a goof fest. It was... Mm-hmm. I don't know. Some of it was slapstick, honestly. It was just silly. It was... I didn't think it was true to the tone of what Narnia was. To me, Narnia is a dark place. It's a very dark place. It's a very fun place. Like, there's a lot of adventures to be had in Narnia, but it's a dark place, and that should be shown for what it is. And, I mean, they, I guess, kind of did that, but it was like the dark characters weren't dark enough to me. Like, I wanted a more threatening darkness. It was like every time there was a scene where there was a battle, to me there was no real threat of anyone actually dying. It was like, we're gonna shoot Play-Doh at each other. Like, obviously that's not what actually happened, but that's what it felt like.
No one did have a Play-Doh gun. No.
it felt like just people playing around. It didn't feel like a real battle. It didn't feel like Lord of the Rings, where it's like there are literally going to be stacks of bodies that they're going to be climbing over by the end of this battle. And to me, Narnia, I didn't read Lord of the Rings, so I can't compare it to the tone that people felt when they read Lord of the Rings books before the movies were made. But when I saw Lord of the Rings, it reminded me of Narnia. It reminded me of what I wanted that fantasy world to look like.
Wow.
So I was trying to Google. I don't know much about Silverchair, but
okay,
I don't know what they've done, but I hope that that's what they're trying to take this to.
I'm curious because like I've seen the 3 Narnia movies that exist. That Disney made the first 2 and Fox, oddly enough, made the 3rd.
Yeah.
I remember enjoying the first movie. I think I still do enjoy the first movie, but the second and third one I remember not enjoying very much at all. But the one thing I do remember is they kind of started phasing out the characters that were in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in the 3rd movie. At that point, I think it was only like the 2 younger ones who were there, and then after that, I don't think there were even like there was some weird.
I think part of that's because of the way the books are written.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure it's probably like that. They're not allowed back or something like that. I don't know, but I was just I'm curious if those characters are even involved in the story of Silverchair. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting because I don't see that very often. Like a book series coming along and being like this is a reboot.
You're saying the book the Silverchair book, The Chronicles of Narnia, the Silverchair?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought this was the studio Silverchair. That's what I was getting confused about. I thought you were saying Silverchair Silverchair will reboot Narnia. That's what confused me.
No.
I'm sorry, I feel like a fool. Okay, I see what you're saying. So they're going to restart the series on that book. I see what you mean.
Yeah. And so that's the thing that's kind of weird. It's like they're rebooting it with a sequel. I don't know.
So this is still going to be Disney, or is this now Fox? That's taking this over.
I don't think it's Fox. I don't think it's Disney. I think it is Fox. I think for some reason or not another, Disney kind of like lost the rights to the other ones. I think I need to look up and see what happened. I don't know if that they own the rights to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Prince Caspian, and after that didn't have those rights. I'm not sure, or if they lost it through some bidding thing. I'm not sure, but that seems to be the case that it will not be with Disney. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Definitely intrigued, even though I don't know. I'm not the hugest of Narnia fans. I mean,
go back and read the books. Okay. I really think you'll enjoy the books.
All right,
they're excellent books.
I may read the audiobooks through my ears,
and that is reading. I'm sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. But I read those.
Absolutely counts.
I read those Harry Potter books through my ears. It counts.
In some ways, I think you absorb it better.
Oh, better than books. Gotcha.
With a good voice actor, the things really come to life.
Oh man, yeah. Stephen Fry freaking reading Harry Potter.
Oh my.
Gosh, yeah. Anyways, speaking of Harry Potter, I want to bring this up a little bit. This sucks. We found this out today. Alan Rickman died of cancer.
Speaking of Die Hard.
Yeah. He I watched that movie. By the way, Joe was always advocating Die Hard as a Christmas movie. I gave it a chance this year. While I don't know if it's a Christmas movie, I wouldn't mind popping in every now and then on a Christmas here and there because just they have Christmas music.
I love that movie, but it's not a Christmas movie.
But yeah,
it's nothing against that movie. I just don't agree that it's a Christmas movie. But that movie's so good. All the Die Hards are good. All the old Die Hards are good. Okay, the first 4 Die Hards are good.
Yeah, but the first one I think is one of those things where it's like undisputably the best one. Is the first one. I think I don't know. It's just the guy stuck in place or whatever. But yeah,
it's really good.
Alan Rickman is an actor I did like. He was in a lot of every time I see him, he has that voice that kind of like draws me. That English British drawl.
Such a bad guy voice.
Oh yeah, he's usually a bad
plays
guy.
It so well.
And every time he is a bad guy, it was a joy to see. Sweeney Todd, one of the movies that I was a good villain in, and of course Severus Snape from Harry Potter. He freaking kills that role, and every time he's on screen, he's just really awesome. And he's an actor I've enjoyed, and it's sad that he did lose in the battle of cancer. Along with really to bring it up, he's not really a huge actor, but David Bowie, just last week as well. He was in I'm trying to think of all the movies that he's in that I like. Zoolander as himself, and
and he was supposed to be in the new one. I assume it's already been filmed.
Yeah, maybe he
I hope it is.
Who knows? Yeah, that would be really cool to see one last time in a movie. But also, a lot of people do not remember this, but he played Nikola Tesla in The Prestige. Because I just didn't recognize him the first time I saw that movie. But yeah, he has a big part to play in that movie, and he does well. And also, of course, freaking Labyrinth as
I've never seen it. I guess I'm gonna have to now that he's died. I need to commemorize him by Watching
It's a
the
movie I own. It's a movie I watch often, meaning like maybe every other year or so I'll pop in Labyrinth. Because it's a movie that just does take me back because it's so 80s.
He wrote The Man Who Sold the World for Metal Gear 5.
No way.
Wow.
There's a recent connection.
That's a lot of MTG tie-in right there.
A lot of MTG tie-in. I did like his voice, his singing voice. I wasn't as into his music, just mainly because I just wasn't as familiar with it. But
it wasn't your thing, but it's good stuff.
Good stuff. And yeah, he was a fun presence when he was on screen too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sad.
Very sad.
Anyways, let's move on to one of our biggest things this week is the Oscar nominations were released today.
Bum bum bum.
We're recording this, yeah.
Bum bum bum.
Bum bum bum, Luke, all the way, bum bum bum. How does it get more bum 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 than that, man? I don't. But
it's the freaking Oscars.
Like this is if you don't know, if you're new to the show, when the Oscars come around, I turn into a character.
You need to name this character.
The super snob.
The Oscar man.
Why I become a
Oscar Jordan.
All of a sudden,
I turn into OJ. Oscar Jordan.
No, not OJ.
I don't want to be OJ.
Who wants to be OJ? Not even OJ. Okay.
Not even OJ wants to be OJ.
Oh my God. But anyways, I become this character who all of a sudden becomes a film snob. I am not a film snob. I love movies. I love horrible movies sometimes. I love movies that are mediocre sometimes. But when Oscars come around, I use words to describe movies that I never use. And so get ready, internet. Get ready, Luke, is what I should really say, because the super snob is coming.
Words that I do not use.
Words that I don't actually even know. Just when it takes over me, I just start using them. It's weird. But we're going to quickly go through some of the nominations. I don't want to diddle around with some of these, obviously the ones that no one cares about. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start with the lesser ones and we'll work our way up with some of the better ones. Visual effects. All right, the best visual effects, the nominations are Ex Machina, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. Those all seem deserving in my mind. That's
absolutely.
Those are pretty great. Original songs, it's always earned.
We need to see The Revenant.
We need to see The Revenant.
So much.
A lot of these movies we need to see, and we will be seeing throughout this next month.
We can only agree with these as much as we've seen.
As much as these. I don't have much to say.
But we've seen all these except The Revenant. So.
Oh, those, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen all these movies except that one.
That's right. All right.
I'm actually surprised at how many movies we've seen that they have nominated that I agree with too.
There's usually like a lot of Nebraskas.
Yep. There's a lot of ones that just flew by. We didn't pay attention to.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Not this year. Not
this year. We're winning, Luke. Slowly but surely, we're winning. The best original songs are earned it from 50 Shades of Grey. I think that's is that a Beyonce song? I don't know. I don't know. Manta Ray from Racing Extinction. I don't know what that is. Simple Song number 3 from Youth. Till It Happens to You, The Hunting Ground, Writing on the Wall. I only know 2 of those. Writing on the Wall from Spectre.
That was weird. A good song.
You think he's going to perform it? Probably.
I hope so.
Original score, Bridge of Spies, Carol, The Hateful Eight, Sicario, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. I'm not going to talk about costume design. I'm not going to talk about.
We're going to watch Sicario tonight.
We're going to watch Sicario tonight, man.
We'll find out if it's the best original score tonight.
We'll
figure that out tonight.
That score hardcore. Best cinematography: Carol, The Hateful Eight, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, and Sicario. All right. No documentary, no foreign language. I'm sorry. Adapted screenplay, no thanks. Original screenplay: Bridge of Spies, Ex Machina, Inside Out, Spotlight, Straight Outta Compton. I have to say, I don't often see an animated film for original screenplay, so that's interesting.
Some of these I feel like they honestly nominated because they felt bad, because Inside Out and Straight Outta Compton got snubbed as far as I know. All of the Oscars except for this.
I haven't seen Straight Outta Compton, but as far as I'm concerned, Inside Out not being nominated as Best Picture is insane to me. But that's just me. Supporting actress. We have Jennifer Jason Leigh from The Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara from Carol, Rachel McAdams, Spotlight, Alicia Vikander, I don't know, from The Danish Girl, Kate Winslet, and Steve Jobs. Let me see Steve Jobs. Best supporting actor, Christian Bale in The Big Short, Tom Hardy in The Revenant, Mark Ruffalo, Spotlight, Mark Rylance in Bridge of Spies, and Sylvester Stallone from Creed. He won Golden Globe for that. I know that.
Yours is in such a different order than mine. I'm trying to find it.
All right, so Best Actress, Kate Blanchett is Carol, Brie Larson for The Room, Jennifer Lawrence and Joy. Is that the only nomination for Joy? I don't know. Charlotte Rampling for 45 Years, and I don't know how to say this lady's name. Saoirse Ronan.
Saracen Ronan.
I don't know. Best Actor would be Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Matt Damon for The Martian. Matt Damon. Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl. Is he just like going to be nominated every single year? But best
Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh yeah,
my goodness.
Is she going to win every single year?
She knows how to pick them, man.
She sure does, I guess. Best Director, Adam McKay. Wow, Adam McKay, man. For freaking Best Director. I did not see that one coming for some reason. For The Big Short, George Miller for Mad Max Fury Road. I can never say his name right. Alejandro. I can never say his name.
Inarito.
Director of Birdman for the Revenant. And Lindy. Why do these people have such weird names for the directors? Lindy Abrahamson. Man, this is bad. For Room. And Tom McCarthy for Spotlight, and here for Best Pictures, The Big Short. I don't know much about The Big Short. Do you?
Yeah, it's about the housing crisis of 2008.
Riveting.
There you go.
Well, I'll be watching it, so I'll tell you all about it. Bridge of Spies is a movie that I haven't seen, but I very much want to. Freaking Tom Cruise, Steven Spielberg, Dream Team. I mean, jeez, man. Brooklyn.
Which Spielberg didn't get nominated for Best Director.
Didn't get nominated, did he? Bridge of Spies got nominated for quite a bit.
I think he's kind of tailing off.
Oh, no!
Poor man.
J.J. Abrams.
Who's done so many good things.
He's never been nominated, so I don't know. Brooklyn. I don't know much about Brooklyn either. What's Brooklyn?
I don't. I think I saw the trailer, but I don't know much about that one.
I think there's a few of these that I don't know a thing about. I will be honest here. Mad Max Fury Road.
What's that?
What's that movie?
What's that movie about?
Oh yeah, we did a spoiler cast for it, so we thought that movie was wonderful. So I mean,
definitely,
we'll check out a spoiler cast. You can see all of what we think about it. So
I don't know about Best Picture, but
don't know about
it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was
definitely a good movie.
We'll talk about later. The Martian. Oh man, that movie was a surprise. I thought that movie was fantastic.
Oh, I really like that movie.
Completely. I bought it the other day. It came out on Blu-ray. It was completely different than I thought that movie was going to be.
We're going to do, we forgot to mention this in the beginning, we're going to do a best of here at the end of each section of what we've seen in 2015 and what we think is the best. So this will kind of tie in right here.
Exactly.
Because we're coming to the end of the movie section. We're going to give you whatever our opinion was best of last year. So kind of compare to what these fools think.
After that, we have The Revenant. I can't wait to see that movie.
My gosh.
Let's we see that this weekend?
I sure hope so. Is it in theaters here in town?
I think it is in theaters.
It was in limited release. It was supposed to come out Christmas, but it wasn't out in our area.
It is
so now. Absolutely. I want to see that movie, sure.
See it this weekend. All right, so spoiler cast for The Revenant coming soon.
Looks so good.
Looks so good. Room, don't know much about it at all. So yeah.
We will watch all of these. We make a commitment to you.
We might not do a spoiler cast on all of these, but we'll definitely talk about all of these at some point.
Will recommend, give the old thumbs up or thumbs down on them.
That's our recommendation scale now. Thumbs up or thumbs down. And then Spotlight, another movie I don't know anything about. All right, so yeah, that's it. Oscars, we'll be seeing these movies because I like being invested in the Oscars because I think it's a load of fun watching these movies that I generally, some of these movies I wouldn't see on my own, I don't think
you would ever watch The Big Short if it wasn't nominated.
Man, talking about the housing crisis of 2008. I just want to run the other
There's
direction.
A lot of stars. That's the amazing thing. This is nominated for Best Picture, and it has so many people in it.
Mark Ruffalo.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Dang, really?
Look, Steve Carell, Christian Bale.
Dear Lord.
I think there's more that aren't named on that too.
Movies with that many stars are usually like
doomed to fail.
Like 43, movie 43 or whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
Something I'm surprised.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. God, New Year's.
New Year's
Eve. Movie I'm surprised is not on there is Creed. I have not seen Creed yet. I want to see it so bad, but I want Amber to see it. I want Amber to experience some of the Rocky movies, and so I'm kind of waiting to watch some of those with her. because I love a lot of those movies.
Except Rocky. Don't have her see Rocky.
What, the first one?
No, the last one. The one before this, Rocky.
I like Rocky
I didn't
Balboa
like
a
Rocky.
lot. I like that one. But I want to watch
like
a few
it.
of them before I see Creed.
No.
But yeah, we should see Creed though. But so Stallone, he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I'm rooting for him. I like Stallone a lot.
Which is weird. He was nominated, but Jordan wasn't. Like,
yeah,
from what I've heard, he did such a good job.
That is weird.
Michael B. Jordan.
It would be like such full circle though. That's why I feel like he's gonna win, because like he won for Rocky, and then if it like came all the way around for him his like last one probably.
He's gotten old.
And it's great. He said recently that he wouldn't do a Rambo movie anymore for that reason. He's like, I'm just too old.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just too old.
It's time to hang up the machine gun at a certain point.
Yeah, I like Stallone a lot. He's cheesy as crap in a lot of movies, but a lot of people forget that he pulls out some great performances in Rocky and First Blood, for instance.
He's just gotten old. I mean,
yeah. And every now and then he'll come and do something great, and I'm glad this is one of them. Because Rocky is a franchise that I do have a lot of affection for. But anyways, Luke, let's get into it.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Let's get into it and let's talk about. First off, let's rattle off some movies that stood out to us as being.
That sounds like a good plan.
It sounds like a good plan. I think in the beginning, Mad Max Fury Road, I would say it's a great movie. A lot of like this movie is huge for so many people. For a lot of film critics, this movie is like bringing the second coming. Like people are like floored by Mad Max Fury Road. Watching it
because it's an action movie and it did so much in the drama category as well.
Yeah, perhaps maybe that's it. But for me, watching it, I was like, man, what a great action movie. And for me, that's it. Like for me, that is it. And that to say that it's merely great, I mean, that's obviously pretty good. But like, I didn't see it as something that was like, I don't know, like revolutionary. To be honest, I saw it was a good return.
I think it was super original setting. I think that's what other people say, and I think that's one part I do agree with it. It was they took Mad Max from days past, and I think they, I'm not a Mad Max expert, but I've seen one of the Mad Max movies, and I think it stayed pretty true to the old movies, but then also went in an original direction that I didn't feel like took away from the old movies. Like it didn't take away from it being true to the old movies, but also added originality. And to me, that's a really hard balance to balance.
yeah, absolutely. And like, I don't know. I found it really good, but I never once said to myself, oh my gosh, I don't believe what I'm seeing or anything like that. Or like no aspect of that movie was just like, for me, this is like unbelievable. Because like honestly, that movie's great. It's sounding like I'm trashing on that movie because it is great. The characters are great. The action's great. It's a beautiful look at. There's not much of a story. I can't say it's that well written because there isn't that much dialogue, and everything that is there is kind of just driving the plot forward, sort of. But like, yeah, it's exactly what it needs to be. It's the best of what it could be, I think. But yeah, anyways. But to be honest, though, there is that bit of me that is like, oh my gosh, that is really cool that's nominated for.
Absolutely.
It's really cool. And in that way, I do root for it in that way. And I'm not saying, right, obviously, I'm not going to say at this point what I want to win at all because I've only seen, 2 of those movies? So, but in that sense, it's really awesome that it's nominated.
Definitely.
It's just because it's a step forward for, like, other movies under the genre movies, like sci-fi, and because this is a sci-fi movie, sort of, and, like, other action movies, comedies, horror movies, superhero movies, and a bunch of other genres that don't really get recognized as much in the Academy Awards. So it's a step forward in that sense. Other movies. Avengers Age of Ultron. That movie is a lot of fun, for sure. And like the more I watch it, the more I'm like, no, it's not as good as the original Avengers in my eyes, but still among the best of Marvel and just an amazing superhero movie. It'll just a lot of fun. But
see, that I guess it's hard for me. It's hard to really balance like what you feel when you first see the Avengers to what you feel when you see the second Avengers.
It really is tough, you know, because they have that initial like, oh my gosh, just seeing these people in this room is just incredible. Yeah. But there's something about the first one that I just,
for me, there's things about the second one that I enjoyed more about the Avengers.
Absolutely, me too.
And I can't say that I think Age of Ultron was better than the Avengers, but I don't know. Like I said, it's hard for me to balance my opinion when I've already seen an Avengers movie. So
yeah,
it's hard for me to just say the Avengers is a better movie. I have trouble with that. But that's not my movie of the year, so we can move on.
But yeah, I people like I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, it was okay. I fly in the face of that. I think it's a lot more than okay. I think it is very good.
I thought it was very good.
And so
very, very good.
I'll pop it in every now and then and watch it just because I like the characters. I think it's well written. I think the action is fantastic. But yeah, very good movie. What you got next? You have a little list there to help us out.
I'm trying to look through here.
Is Jupiter Ascending on there?
It is. I wanted to mention
maybe
that.
If we're talking about worst of the year.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
I mean, it probably isn't on my list, but I feel like we ought to at least say something about it because it was just amazing at the box office. It just blew the doors off the theaters everywhere.
That's crazy.
But yeah, good movie. Not on my list. So
I think it's a good movie.
We can move past.
Yeah, I think it's a middle of the road good movie.
Yeah.
There's some cheesy stuff in there, but it's a movie I will pop in every now and then, meaning maybe once every year or every other year or something and watch it. It's entertaining as crap. It's fun. It's lighthearted. What next?
I don't know. Technically, this movie came out in 2014, but it didn't come to theaters here until January.
Yeah.
So I'm going to count it. American Sniper.
Oh yeah.
We weren't able to see it here until January. So to me, that makes it a 2015 movie.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was a good movie. It was one of those movies where it's like there's some stuff in it that I would have done differently, but it was good. It had a really I think there was actually a lot of the stuff in it was great. There was a lot of great moments in it for sure that were like way better than good. But I think all in all, it balanced out to being like, this is a really good movie. I actually would like to see that movie again, to be honest. Usually,
I thought it was a really powerful movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of powerful moments in that movie, and it was great. Very good story to tell, and it was one of those movies where it's actually I would like to watch it again, and I don't say that about a lot of war movies. A lot of war movies, I'm like, that was great. I'm done. That's all I need to watch of that movie, just because so much of it, I'm just like, it's so intense. It's just the war movies just aren't my thing. But American Sniper, I would like to watch again because I think it's just really good. Actually, I do watch Saving Private Ryan quite a bit. But
I think I actually have almost the exact opposite. I think for me, war movies, when a movie is about war and it's powerful, like so many of war movies I've seen, it a lot of times gets my movie of the year vote because as I've said before on this podcast, and I'll say it again, I stand by this. I think movies should always try to inspire us in some way and give a good message. I hate it when a movie, and Legend did a little bit of this, it takes you to a dark place and never really resolves that. It doesn't inspire anything good inside you. It just discourages you and depresses you. To me, I don't see the point of making a film and that being the result of it. It doesn't leave me feeling good about myself, doesn't leave me feeling good about the world around me, and I don't see the point in it. And so many war movies, to me, it takes you to a dark place. It's war. People are dying. There's no sugarcoating that. I haven't been in war. I don't know what it's like. I don't pretend to know what it's like, but I know that it's a dark place. And for them to take you to that dark place and then bring a good message out of that, look at what these men did despite what they were in, to me, that always inspires me.
Oh, yeah.
And American Sniper wasn't exactly that. It was a great portrayal, I think, of a good, decent man that did great things. But other movies like Saving Private Ryan is a good example, and I think that's why
Schindler's List.
It won the Oscar it did, because it was a story of guys who did above and beyond what they were asked to do in despite of the hell they were in. And that always inspires me and makes me want to watch that movie again, because it's like, wow, I just get such a good feeling. Was it Tears in the Sun with Bruce Willis? Yeah. That was another movie that just, I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, it's not that my enjoyment of it's kind of irrelevant at that point. I watched Schindler's List and I was like, man, this movie is powerful. This movie is important. and like I am so glad I watched this movie, and I will watch it again in another 5 years, just because for me, like, it's so troubling. I put myself in this situation, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, just to be here, it's stressful for me. And a lot of people aren't like that, but for me, I was just like, man, real. It doesn't diminish like how good or bad whatever the movies are. It's just for me how much I can watch them. But yeah, American Sniper was very good. I would like to actually watch that again relatively soon, just so I can well, mainly so I can watch that performance, because that performance was pretty stellar. What else?
Kingsman?
Kingsman
might be another one.
I keep forgetting
that I know you'll get excited about.
Movie came out this year. Came out February
13th. Yep.
That movie was very good. It was very along the lines of Kick-Ass, and it's irreverent fun, which I really enjoyed Kingsman and Kick-Ass a lot. But yeah, it's really good. It's a movie I'd pop in every few years or so to check out. It's funny, it's fun, but yeah, not movie of the year material for me. But I'm excited they're making another one.
Yep, definitely,
because it was a great movie. One I'll bring up, I don't know, Ex Machina. I don't know if that was on the list, but that was a movie that came out in the year, I think around same time as Avengers, like in the early like spring or so. That movie was very good. It was different. It was very. I love the kind of movies where it's like 3 people in a place, and that's on those. These are the only characters you get. It's very Twilight Zone in that way, which Twilight Zone being one of my favorite shows of all time. I really got into. It's the ending. I don't know. I wasn't too crazy about. I mean, not because of the darkness that it had, mainly just because I wanted more. I just wanted more. I liked what they were doing. I liked like what they did with the ending. I just wanted more. I wanted that. I know like a good movie is supposed to leave you wanting more, but I don't know. It's like you're starting to have a good conversation with a friend, a really intelligent conversation with a friend, and you're really enjoying that conversation, and it's just getting going, and then that friend walks away. That's what I felt like that. That's what I felt like that movie was, which I enjoyed that bit of conversation that we had, but that conversation succeeded in leaving me wanting more, which this not being really a franchise, I know I'll never get it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll talk with you about what Ex Machina was trying to say, Luke.
2 movies I noticed here. The Cobbler is a movie that came out with.
I didn't see it.
It's a kind of limited release. It came on Netflix fairly quick.
Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah, Adam Sandler played a cobbler in New York, and that movie was one of those ones I just turned on randomly. It was a really good movie. It really was. It's probably not my vote, but I think it's one that people should be aware of in the running. I think it was one of the better movies made this year.
All right, wow.
And the other one I need to find again. So talk about another movie.
Ant-Man. I want to talk about Ant-Man.
Here's one we can disagree on.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Ant-Man a lot, and like even watching it now, like I bought it and I was watching it just alone the other day, and I was like, I can't believe how much I'm enjoying this movie.
Because nobody else wanted to watch it.
No, I wanted to watch it by myself. I had a nice lazy day, and I was like, oh man, it's time to watch Ant-Man, and I enjoy that movie a lot. I love the characters, and I don't know.
I thought that movie was all right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love you for that. I understand that, but yeah, for me, it's in the discussion for movie of the year. It's definitely not movie of the year, but it's in the discussion, which obviously because I'm bringing it up.
Another one that was limited release, not a big movie that I think people should have been aware of. It was one I mentioned. You guys, whoever else was on the show, probably didn't even remember it. Slow West, movie with Michael Fassbender. And I'm going to have to look up his name, but another young actor who did a great job. And it's a good movie that people should watch. It's either, I think it's on Amazon Prime, actually. Hopefully it's still on Amazon Prime, but good movie. Just, I like a good Western. I enjoy a good Western.
Which reminds me, I cold bought Bone Tomahawk. I bought that movie. As I'm interested, I like the cast. I like Patrick Wilson. I like
Tomahawk.
I like freaking Matthew Fox. You know that from freaking Lost, and Kurt Russell. So I'm looking forward to watching it. Maybe we can watch it together. But other movie to bring up is Spectre, James Bond's latest movie. That was very good. I not movie of the year category for material for me. I liked it more than Quantum of Solace by a lot, but not as much as Skyfall or Casino Royale, but still very good, recommendable. There's a lot of
Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, Fantastic Four.
Worst movie of the year. I think we can go ahead and give that award out.
Yeah.
It was the worst movie I saw this past year.
I said it in the review. It's the worst superhero movie I've ever seen.
So it's the worst one you saw last year.
Yes. It's the worst movie I've seen in years. I know you might say, like, well, what about Sharknado 2? And what about, like, freaking all movies like that? No.
They're not taking themselves seriously. Fantastic Four is.
Exactly. And they're supposed to be good. All right. So, anyways, last spy movies this year, we had Rogue Nation.
Yeah, that was the next one I was going to mention.
Rogue Nation.
Such a good movie.
Fantastic.
So good.
Man, what a fun movie. I just wanted to watch that movie again. That movie was a heck of a good time. If they keep at the pace they're going with these movies and how the quality they're being made, man, it's such a great franchise right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, they're just turning out some great stuff with the Mission Impossible series.
Absolutely.
Starting with 3, really, 3, Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation are just all thumbs up, awesome movies. And man, and we have The Man from U.N.C.L.E. as well,
so
which
good.
was very good.
So good.
Yeah, I would say I liked Ghost Protocol a little bit more. I mean, I'm just comparing it, even though they're not very similar movies as far as the feel goes, but it's because they're spy movies. I'll say that, but still, I really enjoyed
good
Man
movie
from U.N.C.L.E. Yeah, it was very
Did not
fun.
disappoint. It was what I was expecting it to be.
Actually, me too.
An 8, 7.5, 8 kind of movie, and it was definitely, I think, a solid 8 movie.
Yeah, great, good movie.
Very good
Recommend
movie.
for sure. Oh man, okay, so. Let's go ahead and talk about the main ones that are going to come up in discussion here when we're talking about the best movie of the year. For me, those movies I keep
Star Wars, to me, that's in the discussion.
Star Wars. Okay.
To me, Star Wars is definitely up there as one of the best movies. I think that's come out in quite a while, and so I definitely think it's in contention. But then again, this discussion is about what you enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that. People out there may say they have a problem with this or that with the ones we pick. That's fine. That's your movie. But we're just talking. But to me, Star Wars is definitely in contention. It's in my top 5 of the year for sure.
Yeah. For me, 2 movies I want to bring up, and those movies are Star Wars and Inside Out. Both those movies I think are wonderful. It's like Star Wars is like, that's the movie I really wanted to be. I'm going to watch Star Wars over and over and over again. When it comes out, I'm going to freaking wear that Blu-ray out. It was fantastic, amazing. I own Inside Out right now. I'm not going to watch it that much, mainly because I'm just so emotionally involved in that movie. I think that movie draws me in, and it's kind of like Up in that way. But I think it's a it's one of the smartest movies, especially, definitely, hands down, one of the smartest family movies I've seen. It's for anyone out there who hasn't watched it, Luke, give it a shot.
Yeah,
it is a wonderful movie.
It's
brilliant. No, that's the thing. That's high praise, I know, but I really do think when you look at that movie and you look at what it's doing, I think it is brilliant and it's very smart and just great.
It's just harder for me to go and see an animated film.
Yeah, it's not everyone's thing, but
I've moved on. I've kind of from my animated phase, so.
For people,
I will come back.
Yeah, for people who don't like animated movies, like there's some movies like I can kind of say pass on. Like if you don't want to watch Frozen, don't watch Frozen, but watch Inside Out. I will say that. So yeah, I will say those 2 are kind of like, I'm not going to even pick between them, to be honest. Star Wars and Inside Out those were the best of 2015 for me. Like coming out of them, they captivated my mind so much coming out of both of those movies. Like with Star Wars, I haven't in a long time been able to say this. I'm more excited for Star Wars Episode 8 than I am for any superhero movie coming out right now, which is crazy because I've always been the superhero guy, still am. But to say that a Star Wars sequel is making me more excited than like...
How excited are you for Rogue One?
Not as much as
you don't know much.
I don't know.
When we find out more, I think.
Oh, I'm excited.
We'll adapt more of an opinion.
No, I'm excited. I'm way more excited for like freaking Civil War and Doctor Strange, but I'm along, and it's among those, which I'm like, very excited for this coming year. But yeah, Star Wars was amazing. Inside Out was amazing. Those were 2 movies which for me gets the highest. They probably got the highest rating from me of the year in our spoiler casts. I will say, not that it all comes down to numbers or anything, but those just represent favoritism, not really like I'm taking off points for like lack of character or anything like that. That's just I enjoyed it this much. Here's a number.
We have not talked about the movie that's my favorite movie from last year. We haven't talked about it yet.
Is it going to blow my mind that we haven't talked about it?
Well, I mean, it's sort of gotten mentioned.
So this is your favorite movie?
We haven't mentioned it in here. Of 2015, my favorite movie is The Martian.
Okay, all right.
The Martian, to me, was so much better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a really good movie. It blew me away. I had so much fun. For me, 2014, I don't remember what I actually named, but for me, 2014 was, gosh, I'm blanking on it. Christopher Nolan.
It's Interstellar.
Interstellar. To me, Interstellar was the movie of last year that it just blew me away. I loved it. And to me, The Martian did what Interstellar did. In some ways, they're similar movies, but it did that, but then took it to another level. Because part of the reason was how funny it was. The script was very clever. It was laced with jokes throughout the movie, and it still was a very exploratory. You're on another planet, and I mean, you see it. It was nominated for Best Visual Effects. It was absolutely gorgeous. Like Mars looked so good, and the way they figured out how to track his movements from Earth using the shots, how he found.
Very cool.
I'm spoiling this movie. I should not continue to talk, but anyways, the things they did in that movie were very clever to me. I don't know how much it was based on the book. I should probably read the book instead of just say these things, but. I love that movie so much. Really enjoyed it.
I'm actually kind of ashamed I didn't bring it up because I did really enjoy it.
I wanted to wait and talk about it at the end.
Yeah, I'm glad. It does make me happy to see that that's your favorite movie there because it's a very joyful movie to watch. Like it's one of those movies like it's such a breath of fresh air watching that movie because it's way more enjoyable than Interstellar. Like Interstellar is like does a lot of things better.
Watch it.
Well, no, hey, sorry. Hey. Interstellar does a lot of things that are better and in ways more interesting, but nothing is as...
The soundtrack of Interstellar was so good.
But I don't think anything that Interstellar does is as enjoyable. Like this is a different type of movie. It's just funny. It's fun to watch a movie like this that's enjoyable in that way. Yeah. Because most is like so harrowing. It's one of those things where it's like you gotta sit there.
You have Hans Zimmer setting the moods.
You got Hans Zimmer blaring in your ear.
Be posting up jokes when Hans Zimmer's doing his thing.
Yeah, you got these really deep platitudes about love, but not in this. You're just like, we're surviving, and it's like and it's harrowing in a way, but it's also fun. And so
you feel that super fear for his life, but at the same time, you're enjoying what he's doing, and it's super interesting.
You're enjoying the characters, and it's just...
It was what I love about movies. It took you on that ride. It took you up, got you excited, and then took you to this dark place where he's stranded and et cetera, et cetera. No spoilers. Where things happen, and at the same time, you're fearing for his life. You're enjoying the movie.
For a minute there, I felt like you should be one of those talking heads with like a background of like a red curtain behind you when they're like talking about the Oscar nominations. And now one of the best pictures, The Martian, they have you. It's like it's what I enjoy about movies. Like
it's the up and the down, the roller coaster ride that a good story takes you on.
Maybe you should hit them up. See what they can.
What do you think about this? I'll say like this, and I'll talk about how cool your movie is. Yeah, I just like that Matt Damon. Sorry, Matt Damon. We didn't have time for you.
You were great, Matt Damon. Anyways, well, that's it. That's those are our favorites. Not all of those were our favorites. Fantastic Four, but those were movies we thought mentioned bringing up, and lastly, I guess our favorites. So awesome, man! It was a great year. What do you think? It was a really great year for movies, man.
Definitely.
And dude, like I'm looking forward to next year. We'll get there. We'll talk about next year or this next year. We're in next year.
It's crazy.
This year, man. In only a couple months, I'll be sitting my butt in the theater watching Batman versus Superman fight. Something I never thought I'd ever see. But anyway,
whether you're enjoying it or not, we'll see.
Whether I think it's amazing or not, who knows? But still, very
here's
exciting.
to no more Fantastic Fours for 2016.
Dear God. Oh man, I can't take another Fantastic Four. I'll tell you that. Let's get into TV. Let's talk about some TV news. It's going to go by a lot more quicker than our movie section. It always does. First off, I thought this was worth mentioning. The Flash cross Supergirl is the thing that is most likely happening. Have you seen a single episode of Supergirl?
Yes, like
First episode.
45% of one.
What was the first episode, or was it?
No, it was just mid-season.
How was it
I
going?
just jumped in.
How'd it feel?
It was really dumb.
All right. I saw the first episode. I watched the first episode and just, I really didn't like it.
So cheesy.
It just
So cheesy.
Man, I'll tell you what, freaking The Flash is some lighthearted stuff, but it is Dark Knight compared to Supergirl.
Dark
Oh
Knight.
my gosh, I'm telling you what. Maybe if I got
It's like a ride on the teacups at Disney World.
I don't know.
Makes you sick from how cheesy it is.
That's only going for the first episode. It might get different, but judging from you jumping in, I don't know.
It was probably like 4th or 5th episode, I'm guguessing.
Yeah.
It was just on CBS one night, and we were watching CBS, and I was like, hey, I'll watch a little bit.
That being said, if Flash and Supergirl have a crossover episode, I'll watch that episode.
Of course you will, because you're Jordan.
Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying The Flash. You know,
Yeah.
I really enjoy The Flash. If Flash appears in something, I'm going to watch it.
See, I've fallen off from like all the main shows.
Arrow,
like
Flash.
Arrow and the Flash. I wanted to go back to Arrow, but honestly, there's been other shows that I've just had more of a desire to watch. Like,
Yeah.
I've consciously made that decision. It hasn't just been that I've forgotten about Arrow. It's also been, do I really want to spend my time catching up on a show that I'm really far behind and I'm not completely into? Like, I know it's a good show, but I could just watch Jessica Jones. I could just watch Daredevil, which, you know, it's all on Netflix. And that's part of what I think, like, the streaming services have an advantage of. If somebody falls behind, it's like the CW doesn't really give me an option to catch up on the Arrow to be current with what they're showing. And that's part of the frustrating thing.
See, I'm locked in at this point. It's one of those things where it's like, we'll talk about this later. Anyways, also alongside The Flash, this was interesting because I don't really see Kevin Smith directing that much television, but he's going to be directing an episode of The Flash, which is going to be, for some reason, it's going to be really weird seeing his writing plugged into an episode of The Flash. It's going to be very strange. I don't know if he's writing it. He must probably maybe directing it. But anyways, very interesting. I mean, I guess if Kevin Smith shows up in CW and wants to direct an episode of your show, I mean, you're going to say yes. So very interesting. A lot of the times he's a good director. A lot of times his writing and his story, on the other hand, falls flat, but I think he's a very capable director, and he has this interesting style. But anyways, that's neither really here nor there. I just thought it was worth bringing up. All right, this is something I'd like to discuss briefly. A lot of you might not know. Luke didn't know. I barely know that Marvel is developing a sitcom comedy series called Damage Control, which is centered around the crew who literally cleans up after Marvel heroes like the Avengers. I have no idea. I have no idea what to think about that. But on the heels of that, they're having a second Marvel comedy in the works that they're making. The plot of which is still unknown. But I thought it was a good opportunity to bring up. What do you think of this? What do you think of them kind of branching out and being like kind of cornering every genre of the market? Because they have middle of the road kind of comedic but dramatic as well with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they have the dark and dramatic with Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and now they're going for comedy television.
To me, this is the way I'll say it. It's the Samsung problem, where it's like you step back, and I feel like Marvel is at a place where I think you should take one step back and look and see, okay, where are we going? And it's like Samsung. It's like Samsung literally makes everything from a smartphone to a washer dryer to literally the ship that carries the oil over to fuels your cars. And it's like, at some point, it's like, maybe we should focus on what we're good at. And it's like Marvel gets to this point where it's like, we're literally going to take everything that Marvel Comics has ever done. Mm-hmm. And it's like, maybe we should consolidate a little bit. Like, how well is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Like, are there areas we could improve? Like, maybe we should focus our efforts on making Agent Carter better. Maybe we should try to make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a little bit better. Maybe we should, put a little bit more oomph in that bullet before we push ourselves into a sitcom. I mean, essentially, it's a comedy show.
Like sitcom. It's like one of those single camera.
To me, that's like I just don't get it. I really don't see how there's a market for that. Like, I'm a huge fan of sitcoms. I watch a lot of sitcoms. But I don't need a Marvel sitcom. I don't see how. First of all, Marvel stuff is geared towards a younger audience for the most part. It does appeal to older people, but older people to me are watching crime dramas for the most part. I mean, we see that with the numbers that CBS gets. So I don't see how creating something that technically would be geared towards, I would say, 20-somethings and younger is going to work when 20-somethings and younger, for the most part, from what I understand, don't own televisions, do not have cable subscriptions.
They're not really watching sitcoms.
And aren't even watching TV, and sometimes aren't even watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, they're on YouTube, they're watching short form media, they're on, and I just don't understand why you would make a show geared towards younger people who aren't even really the big demographic for live TV, which is what ABC is making all their money off of.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly an attempt to corner the market, and while I do understand that, I just, for some reason, it doesn't at all captivate me when I hear that. It makes me think, like, really?
And you're the target demographic, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you're the people that they want to be watching this. Yeah. And if you say that,
like, for me, it's like, yeah, if I, squint my eyes, like, I can imagine the characters of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the same universe as Thor and all of them, and and even Daredevil and Jessica Jones in that same universe, because that's what they are. But man, if you're gonna come and try to convince me that this sitcom where there's people in a laugh can freaking in the same universe as Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm gonna have a hard time with it. Like, to be honest, I'm just gonna be like, what, really? It's funny, I didn't really put this down because this was kind of like a nothing thing, but like, it makes me really excited about the coming movies. Is that they're apparently everyone is supposed to be in Infinity War. Like, everyone. It's supposed to be like take the universe and put it together, which in my interpretation means we'll be seeing Daredevil.
Holy crap.
We'll be seeing Sky. We'll be seeing Jessica Jones. And every character that they can possibly get. Like, they had some crazy number.
That's
saying like 60-something characters is what they were saying.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, holy crap. And I cringe to think that a sitcom cast might be a part of that.
Oh my god.
I kind of actually doubt that, but
that makes you hard to even imagine how they could fit that many people in and still have like a congruent, interesting story. Like, you almost have to like have little side things just so it makes sense that those people come in.
Yeah, seriously, it's gonna be crazy. But anyways, that's something. I mean, when it comes to fruition and it actually becomes a thing, because I don't even know if there's been a pilot shot for Damage Control. I'd love to watch it. Not to be like, I wouldn't love to watch it like, I can't wait for that.
What does it even look like?
I can't imagine. Like, that's the thing.
How I Met Your Mother set in the Marvel universe.
Like, are they gonna show like the last minute of Sokovia like crashing, and then they're just gonna show people walking into a house like brooms, dusting themselves off? Woo! Those Avengers can sure leave a mess.
Oh my gosh.
That
would be the worst show ever. I would hate Marvel instantly.
Oh my gosh.
Why did you do this?
Oh man, how many planes can Captain America drop? Oh, am I right?
I think it's a terrible idea.
Anyways,
just to settle my opinion
throw that out there.
After all my talk.
Quite awful. Yeah. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the best of television this year. I'm going to be honest and just lay it out flat. Oh, I haven't seen a lot.
I thought one thing to make this category a little bit easier would be new seasons of shows count. If you thought the new season of the show was exceptionally good, it could count.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going for, because if it was new stuff, I wouldn't have a thing to say. Yep. That's sad but true. But I've seen a lot of Daredevil, but I still haven't finished it, unfortunately, because I know this is the kind of pain you get into when you start watching television with your significant other, mainly because like you start watching it all together and then you're trying to juggle a lot and you're like, crap, stuff falls under the bus, man. But yeah, anyways, I think for me, clearly out of the shows I'm watching is The Walking Dead. When I hear people kick on The Walking Dead saying it sucks, I've heard a few people say that. Like, I don't understand. I really do not understand. I feel like I'm hearing a foreign language because that show is quality. Is it like amazing all the time? No.
Best show on TV.
But it's quality all the time.
In my opinion. Best show airing right now.
Well, I fell off the boat with a lot of shows I was watching, a lot of shows that people would be speaking about when this kind of conversation would come up, like Game of Thrones. I stopped watching it. I just started to not enjoy it as much, even though the quality is undisputable. And The Leftovers, which I have every intention of coming back to watch, but I didn't watch the second season. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I've just been watching Arrow and Flash, and I still need to catch up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm a few episodes behind, but I do think Flash is very good still. I think Flash is fantastic. They have themselves a really good new villain in Professor Zoom, and I think it's just as good as the first season so far, which I found so much joy in the first season, and I'm just consistently enjoying it. And yeah, Luke, when you say you don't like watching it, I understand. It is cheesy. There are some characters I just want to slap in the face because of that ham-fisted dialogue and that hammy acting. Cisco, ooh, some of that comic relief stuff is freaking unbearable. Caitlin Snow, ooh, sometimes she's okay, but a lot of times bad acting. Other than that, really enjoyed The Flash. Arrow, still annoying sometimes, but it's still better than season 3. The crossover of it was awesome. And Luke, I almost say it's worth
skip everything and just watch that.
It's worth maybe just watching the crossover episode because of how much fun it is.
Was that between seasons? Like, was that a crossover?
Well,
from one season to the next or something?
It is a crossover, but in a way, they're not really It's not doesn't have much to do with their shows. It doesn't have much to do.
Was it just in the middle of a season?
It's in the middle of a season, but it's mainly there to set up Legends of Tomorrow, which I'm very excited for because that looks like so much fun. But it's mainly there to set up the villain for that, and they have to join forces to kind of fight that villain. And it's self-contained. It's a self-contained story. There's obviously a lot of other stuff from the other stories, but I think it's worth skipping to it if you don't plan on watching those shows. It's worth just watching the crossover events. It's like one episode for Flash and one episode for Arrow, but it's like a two-parter, so it's weird like that. But anyways, yeah, Walking Dead's the best show on television, though.
Hey, that's up there for me. Yeah. New episode of Silicon Valley came out this year, which is, I think, my number one comedy just that I'm watching right now that's current. It's really good. Like, if you're not watching it, I don't know what you're doing, Jordan. I don't know what you're doing.
Watching any comedies. It's crazy.
It's a really good show.
I need to get more into TV, man. I'm like, our tea because of me is starting to fall off the wall. What have I done?
True Detective came back this year. It wins my nomination for most disappointing season of any show.
I watched one episode
probably
of True
ever.
Detective season 2, and I stopped.
I watched every bit of it. I watched all of season 2, right to the finale.
Sorry.
And it was one of those shows that it was like, I stuck with it, and the whole time I'm kind of thinking like, okay, this is going to get better. But I just kept saying that, and it just literally followed the same thing. I think Justin Lin directed this.
This is like Heroes, man.
He's been the director of the Fast and Furious since Too Fast, Too Furious, I believe. All the ones except the original. No, maybe I'm wrong about that. There was one he didn't direct. Anyways, he's directed most of the Fast and Furious movies, and man, I like the Fast and Furious, and I did not like True Detective. I don't know.
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2, and that's the frustrating thing because season 1 really was
stellar,
so good. It was super depressing. It took me to a dark place, and is opposite of everything I was saying about movies. But I still enjoyed it.
Some things are surpassed that.
I guess so.
For sure. But yeah, True Detective season 1 was so good. And yeah, I watched the first episode of True Detective season 2, and I said, nope.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing ever. It was just super let down. It was, like I said, it's the biggest disappointment because it went from something that was great to not good. So that is not on my list. I don't know why I mentioned it, but it won my award for most disappointing. But here we go for my favorite. My favorite has got to be starting off just the conversation by saying Netflix. Netflix is just doing a great job. They're just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the Ridiculous Six. I don't know about that movie. That movie is weird. I watched it. It's too goofy for me. Anyways,
started watching it.
I only mentioned that because it's a Netflix original. And Daredevil and Jessica Jones. To me, those are my almost tie. I'm giving the edge to Jessica Jones as my favorite show of this year. And it's purely out of I enjoyed it. I'm being honest with myself. Mm-hmm. I super enjoyed that show. It's not the best show that came out in 2015 by far. If I was to review it, I probably, like I said, would not give it a great review if I'm just putting it on paper. But man, I enjoyed it. And Daredevil is really, really good. And it may surpass Jessica Jones in the next season. But there was just something about Jessica Jones I liked better for some reason. I don't know. Character layout, storyline, something like that just grabbed me. I think, honestly, if I was to nail it down to one thing, it's the bad guy. I really liked his arc. I thought he was super menacing. I thought his power against her power made so much sense. And it's set in a world like Daredevil where the powers the people have is super connected to reality and real people and people like me and you who have the equivalent strength of us. Just normal guys, and they interact with normal people, and they can have relationships with normal people. And it was like, how do you make a hero who has an exceptional amount of strength and this stuff, but is interacting in a regular world, trying to cover up her abilities? How do you give another person who has special abilities a menacing thing where they can't just come up and choke that person out? How do you do that and still get that sense of oh, I know what she's struggling with, but I understand why she can't just, end him. Yeah. And I think that it just, they hit that right on the mark. So that was,
I can't wait to watch it.
I'm really afraid you're not going to like as much. That's why I've been qualifying this. It's like, I can understand why people don't like it, but I really liked it. So I really hope they make many more seasons for both of those shows.
Some glowing reviews, and I'm excited. Honestly, it's like I watched Daredevil, and with every episode, I sluggishly move my way through. I
kind of did that with Jessica Jones as well, to be honest.
I look at the show and I'm like, this show is amazing. I'm enjoying the crap out of watching this episode that I'm watching right now. And it pains me to know deep in my heart that it'll be another week before I watch another episode. Oh, man, I don't know what's wrong with me. I honestly do think it might be the whole Netflix way of doing television. It might be the fact that here it is all at once. It's not disciplining me to come here's one a week to where I'm like, okay, I can take that one a week, and feeding it to me slowly. It's like how when you have a dog. You'll put too much food in front of him, so much food that he'll look at it and he'll turn away and walk. I had a dog like that. I'd put too much food, he'd look at it and be like, "What the heck is this?" And he'd and he'd walk away. Whereas if I would have put a normal amount, he'd freaking gobble it up. It's a weird analogy, but it might be the case with me. Let's talk about video games. There's a few news items I wanted to bring up. One, back in the day when DC Universe came out, Luke said
on the PlayStation
3, and then after that the PlayStation 4, Luke said, "Man, why can't that come to Xbox?
That game looks amazing." That's what I said.
How long ago was that, Luke? It was 2 years ago?
It was at least 2 years ago. I
was so excited. Luke. What do you think? It's coming to Xbox.
It's basically what they're doing to PlayStation owners with Tomb Raider.
Yeah, right.
It's basically the equivalent. They're teasing them with, this is a limited exclusive, but it's like a 12-month limited exclusive. So
yeah,
who gives a damn?
How are they going to be able to do that? By the time Rise of Tomb Raider comes to PlayStation 4, it's going
to be a new Tomb Raider.
It's going to be $20 for Xbox One.
Yeah.
Are they going to sell it for full retail price?
That's a good question.
PlayStation 4?
$60.
Yeah, right. I can't imagine. There's no way I'm waiting till then. Anyways,
That'll be weird if it comes out at 20 though.
it really will be weird. Here's a full freaking fledged awesome game for $20. Ugh. Anyways, to your excitement.
That's a free to play game, right? DC Universe.
DC Universe free to play. Yeah.
Just give WB all your information, and we'll give you this game for free.
Give you this game for free. Just give them your social.
Just give us
Give them your
access to all your money,
your member ID for your insurance.
so we can sign up for credit cards in your name.
Yeah,
But it's free.
but it's free. It's pretty much what has happened to me. Yeah. But anyways, that's that. And I thought I'd bring that up because I thought it was funny because you've been wanting this for so long. Now that it's here, it's just like, wow.
I'll still play it,
You'll still play it.
but
Well, yeah.
that is very frustrating.
It's very much a booby prize to be like, here it is.
And I can't play with other people like you who played on PlayStation because one, you're
Yeah.
probably not playing, and
I've
second,
played it
it's
all
on
the time.
PlayStation.
Exactly. All right, next up, this is big. The Oculus Rift released the price.
Yes, it did.
What do you think about that,
It
Luke?
was more than I ever dreamt.
Yeah.
I thought 300 at the most, and it's 650.
Yeah. Holy crap. That's a lot of freaking money.
It's like I've been listening to, of course, everyone's talking about it because the Oculus, because it's 2016. There's been all these announcements, and of course, CES just happened. Everyone's talking. Every podcast I listen to, whether it's a Mac podcast, whether it's a freaking Xbox podcast, they're talking about virtual reality. And of course, every time they talk about it, I swear every episode of every show I listen to, they mention something that makes me even more excited about freaking virtual reality.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with that freaking price point because I'm never going to buy a headset for $650.
No.
I really don't think I know a single person who would ever do that. And I don't know how. I mean, it's like Facebook, what are you doing? Like, you have so much money. If you want people to get excited about this platform, you have to come in at a lower price point.
Yeah.
So people buy it and then get other people excited. Like, I'm the kind of guy who buys technology as soon as it comes out. I pre-ordered my Xbox One at least 2 months before it came out. I didn't care about their messaging at E3, all the other things that drove people away from the Xbox. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I thought it was fine. I was like, sweet, TV integration. That's great. I want a new Xbox. That's all I care about. I know Halo's coming out on it. I know all my stuff's going to be on it.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait. I'm just pre-ordering it.
Yeah.
When the iPhone came out, I wasn't on AT&T, and that was the only reason I didn't get it the moment it came out. Oculus VR looks so amazing, and I cannot wait to do everything there is to do on virtual reality. But I can't spend $650. Like,
No.
like the Xbox,
No.
okay, it's the center of my entertainment universe. But let's be honest, the headset, it's just merely for fun. Like, it is only for enjoying myself. And who can spend money on that just to F around in a virtual reality? Like, let's be honest, it's not anything that anybody else is going to enjoy with you. Like,
yeah, it is no way reasonable for something that's very much a peripheral.
yeah,
And,
it's
like,
not your phone, in which
No.
spending $800 on your phone kind of makes sense because it's your freaking phone. You use it constantly.
Yeah.
But this sits at your house most days while you're at work and doesn't do anything.
And exactly, and you use while explicitly, well, probably when people aren't over. So you can have like your girlfriend or your wife or your family sit there and watch you go.
Yeah. Because God knows you're not going to buy 6 of them for everyone.
Oh dear.
So you can all be in a
Lord.
virtual
Are
space
there any 2-player games for this thing? Because holy crap.
for $1,300. You guys can be playing together.
It's ridiculous. They haven't released the price yet for the Vive, what's it called, for the HTC
Yeah.
and the not Morpheus, sorry, PlayStation VR. But
I can only
cannot.
assume this is setting the high bar. I can only assume.
Yeah, you can't. How could you not? But if this is any indicator of what the price points are going to look like for the other ones, you're darn right that I'm going to be sticking with the Google freaking Cardboard as my main VR headset.
Well, you can't use this anyways. Let's be honest. If you bought this, there's not that much you can do with it.
No.
You can't plug it into your Xbox. You can't plug it into your PlayStation. And eventually, yes, PlayStation VR will come out, but
Well, how many?
The old games are not going to work on it. Like,
Yeah.
what is there just going to be a screen in front of you? Like, it's not going to be integrated where you're in a 3D space. So there has to be some kind of flat screen in front of you in the virtual
I'm just
space.
being blinded by a screen that's 2 inches from my eye.
So it has to be at least cheap to get you in, but it's not cheap. Like, if it's expensive and there's nothing for it, it's like, okay, well, I'm not buying a 4K TV this year or a virtual reality headset because there's nothing for it.
Yeah, it's very like for people who are excited about the virtual reality future, it's very discouraging because it's like, holy, is this how much it takes? Because apparently, like the dev kits are like much cheaper than that.
Well,
So
apparently, I did read on that. Apparently, none of the technology from the dev kits is in the new one. Like, it's all revamped. It's all new technology that they had to have custom made. Apparently, they're not making a penny off this. So what you're spending is how much they're spending to get the parts.
So we can't really imagine it getting any lower. Is pretty much that's this.
A lot of companies have been known to sell their things for a loss. Microsoft, the Xbox department of Microsoft has never made a penny off any Xbox One.
Yeah,
they've sold all of them at a loss.
But are we going to have a place where they're going to be able to make up their money off of their games to be able to drop the price in it, so they could be like, well, we're relying on software sales? Are we going to be able to?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know the answer. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. Maybe next time.
I'll look that up and figure it out.
So let's go ahead and talk about the best games of 2015.
Oh, this is my category.
And there's also so many games that I haven't played. I should even state further, there's so many games that I haven't beat. Because there's a lot of games I've played, but I haven't played through their conclusion. I haven't played enough to where I can even say I can review them. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. Games you want to bring up?
I'm going to go ahead and say a precursor. You're going to be blown away by my answer.
Super Smash Bros.
Boom!
Came out, yes, last year.
Haven't played it yet.
Last year. All right.
I mean, the year before last
Let's
year?
work our way there.
You keep forgetting what year it is.
My anticipation is going crazy here.
So we have IGN's winner, The Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
I have not played.
I played several hours of that game. That game is fun, no doubt. It is beautiful, no doubt. And I could see, man, getting lost in that world. I think I have some sort of cutoff when it comes to me and open worlds in the fantasy setting. I don't know why. I feel like it's hard for me.
It's not your thing, apparently.
And that's so weird because I like fantasy movies. I like fantasy like drama and stuff, but for some reason just being a part of an open world, well, that's weird because I love Zelda. And so I don't get it. Maybe I'm just so plugged into the world. I know what the Triforce is. I don't have to learn a new role. And when someone tells me who the goddess Hylia is, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. But when I'm getting explained a whole new lore that I didn't grow up with, maybe then I'm just like, what? So I don't know. It might be a little bit of that, but the game is very impressive. And I can definitely see how it would be someone's game of the year because it's very nice. The music is nice. The graphics nice. The voice acting is nice. The story from what I played is even pretty nice too. I mean, I will get around to playing that game. I almost said beating, but playing that to a fuller extent. But as for now, yeah, it's very good, but I can't really categorize it because I got distracted.
I've got one that I think you'll have a big opinion on. Mortal Kombat X.
Mortal Kombat X is a game that is very much.
You've played a lot of them. You beat it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I beat the little story mode that comes with maybe like a 5 hour or something story mode, which is extensive for a fighting game. Very good, very beautiful. Love the new fighting system where it has variants on each character and the way it changes the way you play. My big problem with this game is, man, they freaking hit a lot. They put a lot of DLC into this one, man, and it's frustrating to say like. When I got there and I was pre-ordering this game, like, here you go, $60. I'm picking this game up on Friday or whenever it came out. And they were like, all right, are you ready to spend $30? No, I'm not. I just spent $60. You're really telling me? No.
Oh yeah, they tried to get you into the season pass.
Then I have to spend $90. There's no way. Get out of my
Right
face.
there when you check out, it's a weird time to ask people for another 30.
It's really weird and it's off-putting, and
Yeah.
it's very off-putting just to see how much DLC is in this. Because, like, honestly, it doesn't have as many characters as the last Mortal Kombat game does have, and it does. And I do prefer that last Mortal Kombat game because the story isn't as good, and just I don't know, but it's still fun. It's fun to. I'll put it in every now and then when I'm craving Mortal Kombat, because every now and then I do crave to play Mortal Kombat. So yeah, it's a good game. It's still very good, but it's not the best Mortal Kombat game, and it's not the best fighting game. So, but still very good.
Splatoon
is a game that I play quite a bit of. Every now and then I play Splatoon and I'm like, this is amazing and I'm having fun. It's very much I have to be in the mood to play it. The biggest problem I have with it is for some reason like I can only play it in short spurts, and for me to unlock more of the game and to like get more out of it, I have to level up more. That's one thing I will say about that game. There is no DLC. There is content that wasn't available.
I've heard it needs it.
But it all trickles in, and yeah, it is a better game for it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a game that I do like playing every now and then, and it's very much a fun game that it's kind of like a breath of fresh air when you play it. Like, oh man, this is so cool, I'm enjoying it. But no, it's not revolutionary, but it is a very, very fun game, and it's yeah. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Really, I don't have too much to say about Splatoon, even though I really do enjoy it. I own it, and I play it every now and then.
You have one.
I would like to bring up Mad Max. Mad Max. I haven't played that much, but I played probably 6 hours of Mad Max so far. I'm gonna get back into it, but that game's a lot of fun. And like I would say, the funnest part of that game, and something I think does make it stand out, is the car combat. The car combat is fantastic, which for some reason I wasn't expecting it, because in most games I hate when I have to freaking combat people in cars because I'm terrible at it. I feel like I'm just going to spin out and crash immediately. But in this game, doing the things you do, it's very satisfying because it has this thing where it slows down time and you can like use things to lock onto certain aspects of either the car or the person.
Twisted Metal.
Well, it's for me, it's
the homing missiles and Twisted Metal.
Yeah, but like you're next to it and you go into this mode, you aim, and then it slows down and you can select which part. And depending on what kind of
you're
parts,
firing out the window.
Yeah, you're firing out the window, and depending on what kind of parts you have and how upgraded your parts allows you to do more things. Like you have a harpoon gun, which if you have a really powerful harpoon gun, like on their base level, you can pull off the door, which then later on maybe you can pull out the person depending on how armored the car is. But if you have a more powered harpoon gun, you can pull off the very wheels of the car sometimes. And it's just really satisfying to do because like to ram into someone just because it looks nice also, and it's very fun the way it slows down. It's so cool when you go like freaking aim your gun and shoot out a tire and you see it flip out. This
is a game I own, but have not taken the plastic off.
Oh, it'll happen.
I need to play
it. And when you do, it's a lot of fun. If you've played Shadow of Mordor, you're immediately at home. It's very similar.
I think that was our game of the year last year.
Wow. Yeah, I think wow.
The MTG game of the year, I think.
That's awesome. But like it's very similar. You'll feel right at home. This combat is very similar. Obviously, it's a different game. Like your resources, you resource things in a very different way because obviously you're in a wasteland. And water's a big deal. Ammo's a big deal. Everything's like kind of more a big deal. Finding a piece of scrap, it's a big deal.
So that was pretty high up for you?
For me, it's a game I'm excited about because obviously I haven't beat it yet, but I'm really excited to really dig deep into this game because that's the thing. Like, we're working people, we have full-time jobs, it's hard, and we love movies, TV, and games. We sometimes feel so spread thin that like we don't have time to really play every game. Would you like to bring something up?
Halo 5. I mean, that's just one we have to mention. Came
Halo
out
5.
This year.
For me, is one of the best first-person shooters I've played in a while.
Have you played through the story?
I've not played through the story. That's insane.
Yeah.
The time, because for me, I immediately go to the story, but I got hooked into Warzone, and even Big Team Battle. Once Big Team Battle came out, I played quite a bit of Big Team Battle. But I
love the vehicles.
It's so fun, so satisfying. That gameplay is just right. Like it, man. Like I really do like the gameplay in Destiny. Destiny is I really enjoy it, but something about Halo, it just draws me in even more into that gameplay.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and and I'm excited to get into the story, but I don't know. It's gonna be a while because I'm so hooked into that. Fantastic.
What if you would ask me on the eve of 2015, I would have said, come back to me in 2016 and I will tell you how amazing Battlefront is. And it was really good. It was not amazing, but it's one that should be mentioned. It is a game made by DICE, and it really took a lot from Battlefield. And
Yeah.
that, as much as they changed it to make it feel exactly like Star Wars, the fact that I had played the last 2 Battlefield games quite a bit really took away from me, from the experience I had, because I saw that the pushing forward, taking base after base as you move across the battlefield, yes, it's a good play loop, but honestly, it's part of what I am not crazy about with Battlefield. It's part of what I like Call of Duty a little bit more and Halo a little bit more, because it gets a little repetitive when you have to take the same bases back over and over again. And when there's only 4 or 5 big levels made for that game mode, it gets a little frustrating. And whereas I would say I enjoy Battlefront better because I love the setting and I love the blasters versus normal guns, it's still repetitive. And to me, that's what takes away from it. And that's why I think guys like IGN gave it, 7.5, 8. And I have to agree. It's a really good game, but there's just some things that you're playing it, you're like, oh, I wish that was different. I wish there was a little bit more to this game. I wish the game modes were, I don't know, different, just a little bit more open. My memories of playing the old games, and I don't know how much of it is just me being nostalgic and thinking back on those games is better than they really were. It just felt a little bit more open and a little bit more like you had a chance in this big battle, whereas now I kind of feel a little overwhelmed and don't feel like I have the freedom I had in the old game. So I think it's in the discussion for one of the better games, but it's just, there's certain things that just really frustrate me, and I end up talking about those things more than I talk about the good things about that game, and I feel bad because DICE made a great game, but they just left me, desiring a little bit more from it.
You let me borrow Battlefront, and I've since you let me borrow, I've probably plunged about 5 hours or so, enough to kind of get the sense of what this game is. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I will say though, on a positive note though, like when I played the demo or the beta, I should say, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this game, but I will say I do like the game. I do like it as it's fun. But at the same time, it feels to me like it's a game that's missing a single player campaign. Like that sounds weird because it's like a lot of games. Like I would feel the same way if like Last of Us came out, which Last of Us has a solid multiplayer mode. But if that just came out with just multiplayer modes of that, I'd feel the same way because it's a solid multiplayer mode in Battlefield. It's cool to have these battles, but it just feels like yeah, this isn't enough. Like this is not enough, and like they're fun. I was playing through a lot of the modes, and I'm like, this is fun. If I were to sit down and play this for like weeks, I'd be like so tired of it. Like Heroes versus Villains, I'm like playing it for like a few rounds, like a few times. I was like, this is fun. I love going around as freaking Palpatine and like doing a little spinny thing and like being like, yeah, let's get the other heroes. That's fun. And like, playing like a lot of those maps the first time, fun. Getting into like the X-Wing for the first time, fun. Until you realize like, man, I feel like
the replay value is low.
Very low.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like this is a game I will get when it's Game of the Year edition, $40.
Yeah.
Or something like that, because it is a game which I could imagine being like, man, I want to see some Star Wars. I want to get into that world. I'm excited about the new Star Wars movie. I'm gonna pop this in just so I can Star Wars it up for a little bit, and just in the Battlefield sense.
Yeah.
But and as that, it's great because man, it looks amazing and it sounds amazing and there's
so much they did right, and that's what frustrates me about it.
I just wish like the gameplay felt more personal instead of I definitely feel like a pawn, because I basically come up and it's very much a lot of the lot. If so, whoever sees you first, you're dead. Like the person who sees you first kills you. That's the rule.
If you don't see them, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. In Halo 5, which I believe is again an amazing shooter, if someone could see you first, and you could, and if you're superior to that person, if that person who's seeing you first shooting at you, if you're superior, you have ample opportunity to dash behind a corner, dodge, and get the upper hand very easily if you're better than that. In Battlefield, it's very unlikely that that's going to happen. I find that to be not very satisfying. But still, in that sense, it's a fun like distraction, I feel like, if you want to pop in it every now and then and play it. But yeah, it is kind of disappointing that it's not more. But anyways, what else do we have here?
Gotta mention Metal Gear Solid 5.
Right. I haven't played this.
The Phantom Pain.
You gotta tell me why I should play it.
This is. I don't have a long history with Metal Gear. I've played some of the games on PlayStation 2, I think it was. Some of the old ones. Didn't finish them or anything. I bought them, played them a little bit, and then got distracted by something else. But this, to me, is the perfect version of Metal Gear Solid. It's everything that a Metal Gear Solid game could ever be and more. Honestly, it's open world. You have a base where you build up your base, and then when you go to your base, that's a whole open world. You can move in and out around. There's so many weapons, so many upgradable things. I mean, honestly, it's overwhelming. I've kind of been distracted away from it, but it has the play loop of you go in and do a mission, you get things, you upgrade your thing, your weapons, your explosives, your whatever, and man, it just keeps me coming back. It's kind of the opposite of Battlefront, where that loop just keeps me coming back. Like Metal Gear to me isn't my favorite series, but if I was a Metal Gear nut, I would be absolutely in love with this game. And I super love this game. I really enjoy it, but I'm not a nut from Metal Gear, so it kind of takes a little bit away from me. I'm not really invested in that world, but it's a movie of a game. It has quite the story. I can only imagine where the story goes. I've, gotten into the beginning and a little bit of the twists and turns of the story, but it is, like I said, it's a movie of a game. It really is. Takes you on a tale. So just an incredible game. Absolutely in the running for Game of the Year. I know the IGN guys mentioned it as one of their ones, and I completely agree. It's so good.
Recommend it to me? So that's
absolutely.
All right, cool. I'll do it.
I would probably buy it on discount because you're not going to enjoy it as much as me, but it is a really good game.
I'll wait a few months. It'll go down, and I'll pick it up for sure.
Or I could let you borrow it.
All right, game I'll bring, or you could let me borrow it. There's that. Oh, yeah. A game I need to bring up is Super Mario Maker. This game, the Super Mario Maker, the first few weeks of this game being out was just it's some of the most different experiences I've had with a game, because I'm not super into making levels. I didn't play Little Big Planet that much. I played it, but I didn't enjoy it just because the gameplay wasn't fun to me. It's floaty and it's weird and just kind of like, this is like, I don't know. I could make a 2D level, but it's a 2D level for a game that I don't want to play. But Mario, on the other hand, I had some very awesome experiences making these levels. And for me, I was like, I just can't wait to play the levels that people make. And while that is fun, I'm still having so much fun making levels. And yeah, it's great because it's a game I can go back to and like I can see something new. Like they're doing these things like events where it's like they're sponsoring these levels. They're putting them out weekly and they're fun, and they're releasing like new skins to where you can like unlock these skins to where you can play as like different characters, even from different games. Because they have the amiibo integration where you can put it in. You can oh my god, I'm freaking playing as Samus in a Mario game. Holy crap! But like, and they have that, and that's cool. But like, man, just the replayability of that game is huge, man. And I'm gonna continue to have fun with it throughout the years. I can definitely tell, even though the Wii U might fade into obscurity, I don't think that game will. But anyways,
let's bring it home.
Bring it home, Luke.
Bring the whole thing home.
What is your game of the year? Wait, let's say it three together. 3, 2, 1. Batman
Arkham.
Oh! Yes! Game of the year. Game of the
I
year,
did
man.
not think you were going to say that.
Dude, that game was amazing, man.
Forget me blowing you away. You blew me away. Wow.
I love that game.
That's
I
awesome.
love the story. I love playing in that world. That world felt so alive to me. A lot of people like have problems with the tank. Like if you don't get too wrapped up in the Riddler trophies, it's not that bad. But like I love that game. I love
That game is a game of all games. To me, that is right up there as one of my favorite games I've ever played. It was the story mode. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The story mode is the best story I've ever played in any video game.
Wow.
It really wrapped me in it. I was so engaged. It was like every moment of it. It was like an amazing TV show that you can't click that A button fast enough to get to the next episode. It's like the feeling I got when Lost was like coming to an end. It was like I just had to watch the next episode. It was like, what happens?
That's
and
wonderful.
Batman was exactly that. And to me, like, and I had mentioned this to Jordan, I wanted to give an award to the multiplayer game of the year and the single player, and Batman, by far, single player game of the year. It blew me away. I love Fallout. I love these other games, and I haven't gotten to play Tomb Raider. I'm sure those games are good, but Batman, I don't understand what other people are so skittish about this game. I understand it gets a little old once you've beaten the story, but when you're going through the story,
Dude, it's an amazing experience.
It's just like the times that the Joker surprises you. It's like little gems like that other games just never did. And Rocksteady just, I mean, they absolutely captured what I wanted Batman to be. From the Riddler sounding exactly how the Riddler should sound, acting the way he should act, and Batman being conflicted the way I feel like Batman would be conflicted in real life. If this man was a real man and had to do what he had to do, it's exactly what he would go through. And we've said some of these things before when we were playing it, but I just have to emphasize it again here. In the new year, that game was so good. Rocksteady, whatever you're doing next, they're talking about Superman, whatever, some other new games, whatever it is, I'm absolutely going to buy it just because of what you did with Batman.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an experience. Like I said it on our review, like I've never felt so integrated into a game story. Like a game story just had me, I felt like, like usually sometimes I feel like, okay, here's the gameplay and here's the cutscene and here's the story that's going on. I feel like these two are very separate. I feel like it blended the lines, not in the way where it's like, here's a cheesy QTE, a quick time event thing or whatever. It's more like the gameplay felt so integrated into the story. It was wonderful. And it felt like the controls still felt better than ever. Flying around Gotham was just a joy, man. And then going back and forth between that and the Batmobile.
And then that climax was so good.
It's amazing, man. I can't wait to play it again because I'm going to play it again next year or this year. So like probably towards the end of it, I'll play it again and maybe get into some of the DLC. I mean, I know I rave against a lot of DLC and it's bullcrap, but like. When I want more of a game, I'm willing to pay the piper to sometimes get it, and Lord help me, they know that. But I'm right there with you with that one, Luke.
So good.
Yeah, that's crazy. I
know.
I
did not expect that.
I really didn't expect that. What did you think mine was gonna be?
Well, I thought Super Smash Brothers came out this year.
Nah, it came out last year. Came out. No, wait, no.
Yeah, it came out this year.
No,
because it was the same. It
came out. It didn't even come out last year. It came out in November 2014, I believe, which is crazy. But did you have a multiplayer game?
But it came out at the same time as Insurgent, didn't it? And Insurgent was this year.
Insurgent was this year?
Because we were going to see Insurgent when you guys were waiting in line for it.
No, you guys were seeing the other one. You guys were seeing Mockingjay Part 1.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
the other
Insurgent. Okay.
Young adult novel or whatever.
I went to the complete wrong webpage to find that out.
The website. Did you have a multiplayer game?
Yeah. That one's tough. I think I have to give it to Halo 5. It was so good when I got to play it in January of 2000. Was it 2000? Yeah, it was 2015. Last year, January, they had the extended beta. It started around Christmas and ended sometime mid-January. It was almost a month long. It was like 3 weeks long, and I got to play for a long time, and I was completely blown away, and I was super excited. And then I got the game, and I played a little bit of Warzone, which honestly I was a little disappointed. There were things that I would have changed about that game mode. Still a lot of fun, just not exactly what I wanted out of Warzone, but the arena to me was everything that the old Halo games were and more. It I credit Bungie with creating a very original multiplayer experience with Halo 1 and then really refining that super well in Halo 2. And then Halo 3, building on it maybe a little bit too much, in my opinion. But the guys, blanking on the name of the studio, the Microsoft guys that took it over since then have
343.
Yeah, 343 have really taken up the torch and I think carried it well in this new kind of reinventing of Halo a little bit, kind of making it their own and kind of putting their own stamp on it. I think I haven't finished the single player mode, but I've heard not the greatest things about it. So, there could be
been a deterrent.
Could be
to me too.
could be some work to do on that end, but I think the multiplayer they really got solid. I'd like to see some more content, some more maps. I'd like to see a few more of the Warzone vehicles inside of Big Team Battle. But having said that, the core gameplay is rock solid. I haven't, and the searching for players, I think they haven't really had the problems that they had with Master Chief Collection, which is very frustrating. It doesn't search quite as fast as Activision has it on Call of Duty, but it's pretty good. It works pretty well. But the actual in-game play is extremely fun. I'm going to be playing this game for years and years to come, and that's why I think it's game of the year for multiplayer, because it's a game I'm going to come back to over and over again. It's not a game that I'm going to put on the shelf and forget about like so many of the games have been. So
absolutely,
good job, guys.
All right, that does it. That's 2015 was awesome. Looking forward to this year, man. This is the year we're probably going to be playing Division. God help us. This is the year we're going to be reviewing 6 superhero movies. It's freaking crazy, man.
Yep.
First one starting off next month, man, with the freaking Deadpool.
Yep.
Excited.
It's a big year.
All right, but that is it for our show tonight, and we will see you next week. We will be back.
Thanks for staying with us for so long.
It's a long haul.
There's a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about, but I'm excited about last year, and I'm excited about this year. I'm excited about last year because I still need to go back to some of this stuff, man. Freaking Daredevil and
it doesn't end. It lives on.
It lives on through me. We'll see you guys next week. Check us out on the Twitters, on the Facebooks, on the YouTubes.
That's right.
And all this stuff. You guys have a very nice night.
See you later.
See you